Get started. I am really excited that my dear friend Mikaela is joining us today. And I know you guys know her resume. It speaks for itself, so I don't need to go over it. But I'm excited for you guys to be able to learn a little bit from her and her experience from all levels, from high school onto the U.S. national team. I think she can offer a lot of insight to all of you that are going through the recruiting process and then also just developing as athletes at this level. So I have a bunch of questions I'm going to ask her. If you guys would like to ask any other questions, just put them in the chat and I'm happy to ask them as well. So just use that as much as you can. And then hopefully if we have a little time at the end, like I said, you guys can jump on and unmute yourselves if you need to too. So, okay. So, Mikaela, are you muted still? Can we unmute you? Okay. Sorry.
That's good.
Okay, there you are. Okay. So let's talk first about kind of your biggest challenges that you have faced throughout your career. Maybe even just starting about like high school ball, club ball, and kind of moving into where you're at now with the U.S. national team and playing professionally.
Yeah, okay. So I'm from a small town in Southeast Iowa, and starting to play club, I was like 14, and that was a big commitment because we had to drive an hour and a half each way to practice. And so it wasn't close by any means. And I think just having to make that time commitment at such a young age was hard, but definitely worth it, especially since that was my only chance for exposure because I came from such a small town, small school. I mean, I graduated with 20 kids. So just having that background, going to a larger club definitely helped. And then I would just say going to college, some of the biggest problems that we ran into there was just a few years we were supposed to be really bad, in all honesty, and just trying to overcome what everyone thought we were supposed to be and just proving ourselves as a team and what we were capable of. And one of those years happened to be 2017. No one thought we should win, and we won the national championship that year, and that was amazing and so cool to be a part of, and one of my greatest memories from college. And now moving on to the national team and professional ball, obviously right now would be the biggest challenge. Unable to practice, can't be together and lift and do all of our normal things. No competitions going on, unsure when the next competition even is gonna be, just like everything you guys are going through. I think it can be really tough, especially if you're looking at the long term and not the day to day. And I think it's super important just to focus on the here and now because we can only control what we do today. We can't control what's going to happen in the next month or two.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, kind of going into that too, like what are you doing right now that really helps you stay active and stay ready for when you're going to go train with the U.S. national team and go back and play professionally? Like, how do you keep yourself going during coronavirus?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been a work in progress. Obviously, I'm not perfect and neither is the system. And so just trying to stay active in all different ways. Like I have a dog and I love taking him for walks and he needs walks. He requires a lot of energy. And so doing that is just like one way to do something different, stay active, and then just trying to work out every single day. And obviously you need a routine, but maybe not doing the exact same workout every day just to change it up so you don't get tired of it. And actually this week I was able to go to the gym for the first time in like 2 months. So that was super exciting for me.
That's awesome. That's good. So what do you think sets you apart from other athletes? Work ethic, time in the gym, things like that. Like what do you need to do to make sure that you are always at the top of your game and setting yourself apart from other athletes?
I think the best advice you can give anyone is just put in the extra time and go the extra mile. Make sure that you're doing all the reps, maybe even more reps. I know like if I'm struggling in one area that day in practice, like I'm going to stay late and work on that specific area, even if it maybe is supposed to be my best area, just because those extra reps help and they help refine your skills and tune them and make you better than other people so that way you stand out. I think that really those reps are what sets you apart. And also just staying extra in the gym. Coaches see that, your teammates see that. That makes them want to stay extra in the gym. That makes the whole team better. It's really a ripple effect.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. What do you know now that you wish you would have known during club season and when you played club?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I mean, we
I
can
wish I
even
would
go
have
into,
known that
but
even though I wasn't a full rotation player then, that practicing all the skills is important. Because I was a middle all my club, and I never practiced back row, never practiced serve receive, and I think that especially at a young age, that's really important. And so just putting in the time there would have been what I wish I would have done.
yeah, I think a lot of what you guys don't know about Mikaela is that when she played club ball, everyone told her that she couldn't play back row. Right? Like, or there's no way, like, she's a 6'4", she's going to be in the, you're going to be in the middle. You're not going to be on a pin. There's no way. Like, and so that never stopped you ever, which I think is just a testament to you in general, as a person. So I think a lot of athletes are put in maybe a different position in high school or club. Can you want to talk about that a little bit too, and like how that shouldn't matter about what your work ethic is, like always like kind of owning your role on the team?
Yeah, definitely. So I've actually played every position except setter. And so I think that really just giving your full self to the team no matter what is the most important. And even if you're not in the position you want to be, like personally I would rather not be a libero. I feel as if I can't give my best as a libero. It's a really tough role, especially since you can't score points. But I think that it's a super important role, and so if that's the role that my team needs me to be in today, then that's what I'll do, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to be the best at it. And um, yeah, even for me when I was in high school, like in high school I played every position in the front row, and in club I only played middle. So just practicing your roles and knowing like where you fit in on your specific team this year might not be where you fit in next year is super important. And just having an open mind and willing to more go with the flow but still maintain a good work ethic.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I remember actually, I think it was, I don't know when it was, when I jumped online and I was watching one of your USA matches, and I saw you as libero. And I like literally texted Michaela's mom and I was like, what is she doing? And so I think that, and you never even wavered. You played your mind, like you played incredible. I think that's just crazy. I think that's just, I think a testament to talking about how it's so good just to have a full, your skill set needs to be developed as a volleyball player. You're not just going to be good at one skill set, and making sure you can have a full game, and feel confident and feel versatile in what you're doing as an athlete. So I hopefully you never play libero again, but I don't know.
Yeah, I hope not.
So I know your recruiting process was obviously very different from a lot of people's, but you still had to do work. You still had to put in, sending out emails and things like that. Are there any recruiting tips or advice that you would give to athletes today?
Yeah, I think knowing what you want out of a school is super important, whether it's to get a specific degree, if you're looking for a certain vibe on campus, really anything. It's obviously tailored to you personally. And then I think finding schools that fit what you want and emailing them and saying, hey, I like this, this, and this about your school. I would love to come on a visit. I think I would like to go here. And then just feeling out the coaches, like you took the time to see what they have to offer and put the ball in their court. And now it's kind of on them to feel you out and see if they think you'll be a good fit in their program. I think that being proactive is super important, because I know for me, I sent out emails first so many times just to different clubs. Before I was like, when I was really young, I was just like, hey, like, I want to stay in the Midwest. I really like your school. You guys are very competitive, and I want to be an animal science major, and you guys have that. I would love to see what else your campus has to offer. And most of the time they respond back because they're excited that you're excited about their campus and they want you to come. So that way they can, show you around and show you what else they have to offer. And I think, like I said, just being proactive and on top of it is super important.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, and something that a lot of athletes probably need to understand a little bit further is that you have to put the work in and you have to tell that school why you're interested in them. Because if you just send a generic email introducing yourself, they're not going to feel like that's genuine, really, and they don't know why you're actually interested in going to the University of Nebraska, things like that. So and just so you guys are aware, Mikaela sent a lot of emails out. You might think that that's absolutely crazy at the level that she played at, but I remember the process for her. I remember a lot of our conversations sitting at Great Lakes Power League with her and her mom talking about this process. And it was just as much work for her as it is for you guys too. So remember, keep emailing, keep putting yourself out there. Like she said, be proactive. Those are such key pieces of this process. Okay, so let's kind of go back into your career and dive into that a little bit more. What do you feel like has been your biggest accomplishment so far, and the thing that you're maybe the most proud of?
Oh man, I would say winning national championship by far. Not just winning the title. It was just everything that both teams had to overcome to get to the title. And it was different obstacles each year. In 2015, it was just the expectation that we had to win, that we had to be in Omaha, that we had to be playing for the national championship. No Nebraska team had ever not been in Omaha playing for the national championship. And so there's a lot of weight on your shoulders when it comes to that, when you have 20,000 fans in the stands that are expecting you to win. But it's also a lot of fun. And so I think that was really cool to be a part of, to have that many Husker fans there. And then, like I said, kind of before, in 2017, we were the underdogs. We were predicted to have the worst year in Nebraska volleyball history. We had lost so many seniors the year before. And we came out and we were kind of like just owning it. It was like, all right, yeah, this is going to be rough, but hey, we're going to get through this together. And we really came together as a team that year. And in the championship game, I'd say we played some of the best team volleyball that any team has played. We were way better as a team than we were as individuals. And I think that was really special.
Yeah, that's awesome. What keeps you motivated, in the day to day right now, and also just in general in your career? Like, what do you do the most that is just going to motivate you daily to be the best that you can be?
I think just the love for the game is what keeps me motivated, and just wanting to play and be better for not only myself, but for my teammates and my family and everyone. And I think that just having that drive inside of you to be better every single day in every task that you do. I mean, I'm super competitive, so it's not just volleyball, it's everything. And I think that is something really important. And then also making sure that you're refreshed, because if you're doing volleyball 24/7 all the time, you're not going to want to be better or have that competitive drive still. You need to find other things that can help make you competitive.
What are some things that you do outside of volleyball?
Yeah, so I go for walks with my dog. I also really like just playing other games. Me and my husband right now have been going back and forth on different games. I don't know if you guys know what can jam is. It's like frisbee toss, and then we play washers, and we've made up a few games. It can get competitive and kind of nasty, but it's always a good time.
That's awesome. What do you do when you have a setback in your life and in volleyball, and how do you bounce back from something like that? And then could you give us an example?
All right. A setback. I think that setbacks come in all different forms. COVID could be looked at as a setback in so many ways. But I think the best thing you can do is just shine a positive light on it, because if you're always looking at the negative, you're never going to be able to bounce back. And I guess my biggest setback would be after my junior year, I got shoulder surgery and I wasn't able to hit for 3 months. And so when I first started playing, it was like my arm couldn't do volleyball. And that sounds bad, but it was the truth. And I think just knowing that I had the capabilities to get where I was before, and just having that outlook and not looking at the long term and just seeing what I was doing and improving from day to day was the most important for me. Because if you're always looking at the long term and where you want to be and not the progress that you're making, you're always going to be looking at the negative.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. So talk about kind of your team at Nebraska and, how close you guys are, maybe still today. And, I know that they were all at your wedding, and just kind of the cool thing about, I believe in, about college volleyball is you have this like built-in support system. So talk about kind of what that means to you and what you feel like that is, that's a really big piece for all these girls is they get to, walk into college with that support system right away.
Yeah, I really can't even describe our relationships because we were so close, and it was definitely a family because we bickered like a family, and we also loved each other like a family. And I think that the important thing to know about a team is that just because you're a family, it doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. I'm sure you don't agree with everything with your current family right now. And that was the truth for us. We bickered about it, but at the same time, we knew that at the end of the day, we had each other's backs and that we'd always be there for one another. And that's the most important thing. And we put a lot of hard work into developing those relationships throughout the summer, throughout the year, team bonding, getting to know one another, just different things like that. And it wasn't work because it was fun, but at the same time, it was essential for the well-being of our team as a whole. And so I think that that was something that was really unique about Nebraska.
That's awesome. So kind of wrapping some things up, questions here I have is, talk to me about the biggest thing that volleyball has taught you as a person.
Oh man, there's so many things. I'd say the first thing is just how to work with so many different personalities. Obviously, my personality is different than probably the person I'm playing next to, and just knowing how to work, communicate, and get along with those personalities is a skill that not a lot of people have because it's one of the main skills that sports gives you. I'd say another one is just team dynamic. Volleyball is one of the most team-oriented sports out there. It takes all 6 people on the court to win, and I think that is so unique and so cool, and one of the reasons I love the game. And it's something that not only is it useful today in your current life, but it'll be useful for every day after volleyball. I think that's probably my top 2.
Yeah, I like that. So what is your plan post volleyball, and what are your goals? I know you probably get asked this all the time, but what do you plan to do after you're done playing volleyball?
Yeah, that's a great question. Not 100% sure. I got accepted into vet school and have a deferral, so I could go back next year and start classes. So that's an option, or maybe do something in the volleyball industry. I guess just kind of up in the air and see where life takes me.
That's awesome. If anyone has any questions, feel free to jump on and ask, or you can also type them in here too. But I know that we really appreciate you, Mikaela, and kind of answering all of these. I think we dove into a lot of topics in the past 20 minutes, so that's awesome. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask?
Yeah, feel free, hit me with anything. Also, short plug for myself, my Instagram got hacked. You can follow me at my other Instagram that's not deleted now.
You got to get all those followers back.
Yeah.
Do you know how it got hacked?
Yeah, it got hacked. I was on my Instagram actually when it happened, and I watched the guy send out all these messages to everyone I followed, and then I watched him post on my Instagram, and I actually posted like, "Hey, I'm hacked," and they deleted it, and then they changed my password and locked me out of my account.
Crazy. Hope that doesn't ever happen. I don't have.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how did you know that like Nebraska was the school for you and not any of the other schools that you were talking to or anything like that? How did you know that Nebraska was the fit for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I hated Nebraska when I first went to visit there. I thought they were really stuck up and that it was just a really bad program. But my mom made me go back, and every time I went there, I loved it more and more. And I think the most important thing that I learned from that was don't judge a book by its cover, because I didn't really get to dive deep into the program the first time I went there. I was just on the base level and wasn't able to see everything that they do for the girls, as a team, and the family that they had created. And in the end, the reason I chose Nebraska was because every other school I went to, I was comparing it back to Nebraska. And that's just how I knew. It was like, okay, well, if no other school's measuring up, then why am I not going here?
Yeah, that's really good. And we got another question too. What was the transition like going from high school to club to college volleyball?
Yeah, okay. So high school to club, I think, was pretty similar just because obviously you're playing with girls that are the exact same age as you. And so it's not a whole difference in physicality or in speed or anything like that. I'd say the biggest jump is from high school and club to college, because in college you're playing with girls that are 3 or 4 years older than you. And there's a big jump from being a freshman in high school to playing with a senior in high school, from being a freshman in college to playing with a senior in college. Just a lot more experience happens in those 4 years, and a lot more growth in terms of physicality. Your body's just a lot more mature at that age. And so I think just trying to be a good learner when you first get to college is super important, because obviously you're trying to learn the system and you're trying to grow as a player. And I think that just taking in everything that you can is really important.
Okay, that's awesome. And so we have another question. Can you talk about the mental aspect of the game and how you have worked on that throughout the years and how you've kept your confidence up moving through the different levels of play?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that confidence is really hard to judge and is also really hard to find. And it's easier for me to be confident in something that I've done for forever. So, like hitting and blocking and serving and things like that. For me, I think the biggest struggle with confidence has been in passing, just because I haven't done it as long. I'm not as confident in my skills. But I think the most important thing in terms of confidence is just knowing that the great plays you made maybe 1 or 2 plays ago, you're still that same player when you make a mistake 2 plays later. And so just knowing that you have the capabilities to be great, and then just trusting that you can do that every single play is the most important thing.
Okay, so I have two more questions. Is it difficult to play a sport in college and also study your, intended major? And do you give more attention to one over the other? I think that's probably dependent upon the level a little bit, but maybe you can dive into that from the Division I perspective.
Yeah. So we have a great life skills department in Nebraska, and they talk about community service, school, athletics, just anything in terms of life skills. But I think they said it best for us is that there's 4 areas of your life. There's athletics, there's school, there's your personal life, and then there's your community involvement. And in reality, you probably can only do 3 things great. So you have to choose what 3 things you want. And so I think that just trying not to overextend yourself is super important. So if you want to be great in school, then you really need to focus on school and athletics. Obviously, you have to be great in athletics. That's what you're going to school for. It's something that you really need to focus on. So you have to choose the 2 others. And I think that it's not that if you're giving up, you're not ever giving up your personal life. You're just having a different type of personal life. So maybe you're more friends with your friends in class or with the people that you do community involvement with versus other people outside of your team and outside of your classes. I think that really finding the balance is the most important thing. I know for me, it meant setting aside specific time to do schoolwork and to get it done, because I wanted to be successful in school, and getting good grades was really important to me.
That's really, really good advice. When did you realize that volleyball was something that you did want to do in college and beyond, and then at the professional level?
Volleyball was something I want to do in college. Wow. I feel like I didn't ever want to stop. And so it was like, okay, yeah, I want to do it in college. Like, I don't want to be done playing. And so that's just kind of what led me to play at Nebraska and to play in college in general. It was just that love for the game. Wanting to play in professionally was a little bit of a harder decision just because I had been accepted into veterinary school and I wasn't sure if they were going to give me a deferral. And obviously, volleyball can't last forever, your career does. And I wanted to be set up into a career I wanted to do, and that was vet school for me. And so I had really waited until the absolute last minute to decide. It was like probably February my junior year or my senior year before I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to play professionally. And I'm really glad I did. It was a great choice, and I know I would have regretted it if I didn't at least try it and give it a chance. And it was really cool to go over to Italy and dive into their culture and see everything they had to offer.
That's awesome. Okay. If anyone, we have, you play beach. Did you play beach volleyball at Nebraska?
Yes, I played 2 years of beach, I think.
So it's kind of built into the Nebraska system. Like you play in the spring because they have the indoor court, correct?
Yep. So every spring we play beach and we go to Hawaii for spring break. So it's definitely not a bad deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today. It's always great to see you, as always. And thank you, Pipeline Volleyball, for jumping on today. I'm so excited that I could share Mikaela's expertise and her knowledge and advice for you guys too. And hopefully we will have her back on in the near future. So thanks, Mikaela.
Yeah, Lauren,
yeah.
I just want to hop in for a second before we say our goodbye.
She's the club director at Pipeline.
Okay.
Hi, Mikaela.
Hi.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for hopping on with us. I know that obviously with the girls muted, you can't feel how enthusiastic and how excited they were to hear from you. But at practice, after I sent the email out, it was kind of the talk of the town. So really appreciate you hopping on with us. And also everyone, I just wanted to give a shout out to Lauren because without Lauren, this wouldn't have been possible. So Lauren, thank you so much for setting this up for everyone as well. I know that, like I said, they're muted, so you can't really feel it, but we're very excited to talk to you. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
You're welcome back anytime.
All right. Good. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.